Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Good to see you, Angelique. How are you?
See you, Trevor. I'm fine. I'm doing really well. Thank you.
Very good.
And
Very good.
I'm excited about today's topic. It's an information session about becoming a Hello Money Club Pro member.
I'm also quite excited about it because I feel like we get quite a few questions about this, even though I feel like we send a lot of information out, and so it's quite nice to have one place to talk about it and kind of try and get everything out there and answer any questions that people might have. I also think it'd be really brilliant to be able to send this to people afterwards and just say, "Hey, here's all your questions answered in a really human way," which is kind of part of the brand anyway. So yeah, I think it's gonna be good.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. So, welcome everybody on the stream. We are live on LinkedIn. We are live on YouTube. Please say hi to us. We are always happy to know who is watching us live, and please engage. We do this live so we can actually interact with people, be more interactive than just broadcasting a message. Because, as Trevor said, we are very much about sharing, learning together. So being in an interactive session fits us really, really well. If you're watching this later, that you probably will, maybe because we will send you the replay for people that registered but couldn't make it, or some other people that might show interest in joining us as a pro member for the next cohort. We will send you this video. You can always find everything else back on our YouTube channel. So there will be there's a complete playlist of all the LinkedIn lives that we did in this year already. I think it's already number 7 or 8, isn't it?
Yeah, we've done loads already, and it's quite nice
Yeah,
actually because it's a nice regular rhythm for us to talk about something that we care about.
exactly. And it is something that Trevor and me have been doing. So I'm Angelique Slob. I'm the founder of Hello Monday Club. Trevor is co-host in Hello Monday Club, and we connected a few years ago. And because of our shared passion and mission about the future of work, we started having regular conversations. We worked together on several occasions, and we kept on talking. And especially when, of course, the pandemic came, and the change we have been following closely the changes and developments in the world of work. And early 2022 to the live stream, we were like, well, why don't we start to do those conversations live and invite other people to join the conversation? And also, we have guests joining us in the coming months in this live stream. So next week we have actually a guest, and that we'll tell you a little bit later about. Okay.
I have got an opener for you, Angelique, because I get asked this question. I think you've got asked this question
Yeah.
quite a lot, which is really just about Hello Monday Club as a whole before we get into the community and the pro membership. So, and I know that you've got a full story to go behind this, but I think a lot of the time it's quite nice to know where did the name Hello Monday come from? Why did you start it, and kind of then linking to what is the purpose? And that's quite big, but I think people will want to know that.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's a good question. Because we have a lot of other topics to cover today. So I worked as an HR interimer, HR director, people director for many years in large companies in the Netherlands, where we had a new way of working. This was all about flexibility. People work where you want, when you want. But I noticed that it was very difficult for companies to really create an autonomous, results-driven workforce. That led me on a journey of exploration. So first, I spent a few years at university doing a master degree on organizational sociology. My master thesis was about the most effective management style for knowledge workers, and after that, I decided to help companies as a consultant in becoming more effective, more future proof, more strategic about the organizational development. That collided with my own desire to become location independent. So this is 8 years ago. I left on a one-way cruise to Brazil to basically never really return to my old life, at least my old lifestyle. I'm currently back here in Brazil, but I've been done a lot of traveling, and I spent a lot of time also in getting to know startups, different ways of working, entrepreneurs, a lot of things. I've done so much since I left that corporate world. I decided to rebrand my consultancy at one point, Hello Monday, as a reflection of a world where people would say hello to Monday instead of thank God it's Friday, because we believe that work should not be like that. We think work and life should be integrated. Work should be giving us fulfillment, a chance to develop ourselves, etc. From
Yeah.
consultancy, we moved to, in the beginning of the pandemic, we did some mastermind sessions with some small groups of people, quite informal. And then I decided to structure and to build a community, because I really believe that we are now at the verge of a global workplace transformation, where we lay the foundations of a new way of working, not just for us for the rest of the year, but actually for future generations.
Yeah.
So basically, it's almost a revolution. We are in the forefront as future work leaders, and we are bringing people together to making sure that we, tap in that collective intelligence to make the right decisions in doing so.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's quite exciting, isn't it? When we talk to people who are looking to do something really different with how their workforce manage their work and manage their time, the level of empowerment that's going on. They're looking to flatten hierarchies. They're looking to create people who are more independent, issues, different types of workers. Whenever we hear any one of those stories, it's quite exciting, because the amount of change that can take place so quickly, particularly because lots of places are now more location agnostic. It's really exciting.
Exactly. Yeah, there's just a lot of change, and it's just not remote and flexible working. That, a lot of people think, if they hear the future of work, they think, oh, it's about remote working, but
Yeah.
it isn't. It is actually about diversity and inclusion, creating an inclusive workforce. So there's a lot of other things happening that and I don't even talk about technical developments, such as HR, robotics, big data, and the metaverse, that will all have impact on the way we work. And we cannot really stand still, and we have to adapt very, very quickly to new ways of working. And that will
Yeah.
also have a huge effect on society. And that's, the thing that I'm probably most excited about, even. So just a quick
So
question. Is it because now there is, like, in the space that I am, there is suddenly a event starting? Is that really? Because I don't know if you hear
it's
a lot.
okay. No, it's
Okay.
okay. There is some background noise, but I mean, you're loud and clear, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, because this is also the future of work. We cannot always control our environment working remotely from different places.
No, well, one or both of us is normally in a co-working space, and that's the reality, isn't it? That you get this kind of, slightly less control over your background and your environment. So,
Exactly.
should we talk a little bit more about then what it means to be a member now of the community?
Yeah. So I have a little bit of a few sheets. Well, what does it mean to be a member? Oh, this is quite practical in this sheet. So we open the door for members. This is the plan that we offer. I want to zoom in a little bit more, and, like, what it means in the sense of what kind of value and why people join.
Yeah,
But we're talking about a pro membership, just for people to get the idea. We offer a year long pro membership, where within that pro membership you get access to a leadership circle that I want to tell a little bit more about, because this is, like, basically the backbone of the pro membership.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it is the thing where you get the most value about, but it's not the only thing. So you also get access to the overall community, and the overall community is our broader community of members, but also our broader audience. And you get always, like, either exclusive access, or priority access, or discount access to content, programs, and events that we also do on top of the leadership circle.
Hmm.
And I'm excited to talk about the leadership circle, because we call it the Future of Work Leadership Circle, and in May, and this is why we organized this session for the people that have shown interest but have some more questions. So these are really where the magic is happening of becoming a pro member of Holland Monday Club. You'll be working with a small peer group, and a small peer group is not a random group of people, but we really select people based on level of seniority, their role, the industry that they're working in, the challenges that they face, but also personality, and the vision that they have around the future of work. So
Hmm.
there is a selection process. It's not randomly people signing up and we bring them together and see what happens, but we think about deliberately about the group of people that we are forming, and also we are facilitating that, and we are facilitating those groups in a way that people build really strong relationship and in a safe and trusted space.
Yeah.
That year long, the future of works leadership circle is 12 months, and that will be in practice 10 sessions, because in summer and in with Christmas time it's going to be very difficult to get everybody together, so we have to focus on 10 sessions. We always hold space to do up to 12 if people really want it, and it's easy for us to facilitate it in a practical way, but 10 sessions is the minimum that you will get.
Yeah.
And I want you to tell a little bit more, because you are one of the well, you are the main facilitator of the groups at this moment. So how we structure those sessions in for our pro members in that future of work leadership circle.
Sure, sure. So you talk about here, we mentioned the idea of a hot seat. And so effectively, we normally have one or two issues or challenges that people are bringing within that future of work topic. And the
Mhm.
idea is that when one person learns, everyone learns. And this is really what we've talked about from day one. The entire point of the community is that there's a sharing of learning and a sharing of challenges. And what I think is unique about how we do things is we encourage people to be on the journey with one another rather than someone coming in and saying, I've been there and done that. I actually don't think that's useful, particularly in the future of work topic, because there isn't a been there and done that. It's becoming more unique, more idiosyncratic with every organization, with employees and that sort of thing. So the idea is that you come, you bring your own challenge, and then others support you. And we use a liberating structure. So, for those of you that haven't come across that, it's a structure, or there's actually 32 structures around how you run meetings that ensure equality of voice, effectively, so people really feel like they are peers. So, it's very different from someone, say, coming in and presenting something, and then people offering ideas. It's a lot more two-way. So, someone will come along, they'll describe their challenge, and then we'll invite people to, first of all, just share their reflections and encourage them to really work on their listening. So they get an added bonus that they are working on their leadership skills, or at least that's how I would sell it. So they're listening below the surface, they're listening to the things that the person's saying, but also some of the things that they've heard, maybe the person hasn't said. They reflect those back. The person has an opportunity to kind of add more information, clarify, and reflect on what they've heard. And then we start to come up with some ideas and some solutions. But we do it in quite a tentative way. So it's almost like a little mini brainstorming session. And then we all come together. And the idea is that we will then talk about, okay, well, how's this going to work practically? And then what are the next steps? So in a relatively short amount of time, bearing in mind, we also talk about future work topics in that session. We go from something that feels very problematic, very high level, and then we slowly work through some of the obstacles, the personal and organizational obstacles that might be in the way. And then we come down to some solutions. And those solutions are built by peers and people like you and I that work with lots of other people facing similar challenges. So by the time you get to the end, we should have distilled down some of the best ideas for that person to be able to make some really practical next steps.
Exactly. And what we also do is we put the recordings of the sessions in a community platform, but only
Yeah,
accessible for the group and the facilitators. So it's really a safe space. But it means that like even like if we have 10 sessions, you can at one point circle back to session 2, session 3, or you think, well, actually my the other participant had a similar problem earlier this year that I'm
yeah,
facing right now. Let's move back to that and see how that session went. And
yeah.
they're really like, I'm just going to show a little bit of a video later from one of our pro members that we know that she gave us permission to use this video for our broader audience. Is in that moment of time, the space that we hold, being able to reflect with people that are on the same level, but are not involved in your organization.
Yeah.
And the whole idea of those mastermind groups within the pro membership, they actually, I came up with it based on two things. My own experience as an HR director, where I always felt, if it's a lonely position as an HR director, because you definitely have a different perspective on organizations than everybody else in
Yeah.
your leadership team. And if you're in a leadership position yourself, you don't have anybody like, as a trusted peer you can reflect with in your organization. And especially now, there is so much insecurity, there's so much happening, there are so much expectations you need to manage. I was thinking, well, I would, really want to connect with the group and do that in a structured way. And then because I
Exactly.
put a business mastermind group, because, as an entrepreneur, I was in a business mastermind group, and these were 5 or 6 female entrepreneurs, and we were all active in the future of workspace before the pandemic. So we struggled with
Mm.
finding out, our audience, our, like, we were kind
Mm.
of all ahead of the curve. And that is difficult if you're ahead of the curve, because you have this vision, and the world is kind of behind it, and it's problematic, but the people don't recognize it. And that gave me such a strong sense of community support. And
Yeah.
they became my business friends, not my real life friends maybe, but my
Yeah.
business friends. And I was thinking, well, it would be so great if we could create something like this for HR directors out there that are struggling, that are looking to find support, and just reflect on the visions, and ensure that they are,
I I
getting support.
really yeah. I
Yeah.
really think you're right. I think it's probably one of those positions, heading up HR or an HR team. There are other support functions as well that suffer from this, where the only way you get your work done is through influencing others. And I hear a lot, if I coach someone in HR, I hear a lot of confidence issues around like the validity of the point that I'm putting forward. And what I love about the groups is it's a time to come together with other people. And by the time you walk out of there, you feel a lot more confident about the thing you are proposing, and that it is valid and it is real. And you're not just kind of drinking the HR Kool-Aid. It's genuinely going to have a business impact. And I think that is invaluable, just being able to kind of get that level of confidence before you go back in and try and influence in your organization. It really makes a difference, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's the same thing. Like, I was like, okay, this is what I would have wanted if I was still in that
Yeah.
position. And you said exactly the same thing. You said, oh,
Yeah.
when I answered to you one of the first times, you were like, yeah, this is exactly what I would have needed when I was like in my L&D director role in larger
Exactly.
companies. So yeah,
Exactly.
and that's basically, so we really come from that place of experience. We are sharing our experience also in the groups with the cohorts, and hold that space, and just create what we feel is important. And the good thing is that, obviously, our pro members that have joined us already agree with that, and they share that. And if you don't mind, I would like to show a little video of Susanna, who is actually a former colleague of yours, isn't it, Trevor?
That's right.
And it was explaining a little bit why, what her view is on the value that we offer in those sessions.
People director for the data and tech unit. Been in tech companies for the last 10-ish years in different HR capacities. And right now I'm also project managing the work stream in our central kind of return to office project around culture and leadership. So it's very, I think this is really inspiring to hear from others, because you very quickly tend to get very inward focused and forget to talk about these things with others, um, and to kind of bounce ideas and share perhaps of how we are thinking and how that sounds to someone outside the company. That's it's a very good opportunity to do that.
On video. Yeah, and I think we can't say it enough to have and this is one of the things that a lot of people asked us, can we join one of the mastermind sessions before I join as a pro member? And we didn't do that before because we were like, no, if you join, you commit for this 1 year, and we do offer a money back guarantee. So if you feel the group is not the right fit for you after all, then we're happy to put you in the next cohort, put the membership on
Yeah.
hold for the next cohort, or maybe refund even the money. But we are excited because in the 29th of April, we are doing a mini mastermind session for HR directors that are interested in joining, and that want to get a taste of how we do that. The applications are open for that. I'll put the link in there. It's just a Zoom link um, where people can do. So in a second, I'll put that link, or maybe you can do it in the meantime, Trevor, if you have the link.
I can get there quick enough. Yeah.
Okay, so just put it in the comments, please. We'll put it later also in the comments on the YouTube video. Sign up, just register on the Zoom link, and we'll get back to you. Also, these are what we do. We use the same structure. So the first half of the session, it's an hour and a half. We are discussing a future work topic, and then we take the real challenges of the participants, and discuss them in small breakout groups. So you get the chance to put in your real business case of yourself or in your leadership position or your company, and get feedback from a group of 7 or 8 HR leaders from around the world in a way that is invaluable and will give you very, very interesting insights. So do not miss that chance, because normally what we only do inside the community with our pro members. What else?
Well,
So
I guess we're sort of talking about all the wraparound stuff as well, aren't we? So that's the backbone, is those sessions. And then there's an online community, a private part of that community, and the community as a whole that people get access to as part of being pro members. We're about to launch some training content as well, which will be free to any pro members. So that will be accessible again within that community. And we encourage all of the, for now, and we encourage those community members as well. We encourage them to join up outside of those sessions, because that then really brings it to life. Because it would be strange if they're muddling through and they're trying to work out the best way of doing this, and then we kind of say, yeah, but you can only ask questions of each other, and you can only support each other in one of the 10 sessions that happen in the year. That's not realistic. So we encourage them to connect outside of those sessions. Those sessions just allow them to take some real space and some real thinking time, and get dedicated support when they're super busy, as virtually every person is. So we also think of them as being a community that sits outside of those sessions, not just, and we facilitate that community outside of those sessions, not just people who turn up once a month to get some kind of intensive support.
exactly, it is, and we have like quarterly network drinks. We sometimes have guest speakers, so there's there's a lot of things happening, and it is not just like, so we encourage connections within your leadership circle, which is like the most natural because you're working together, so you will
Yeah.
have like definitely have that connection, but also with the other cohorts. So, and especially the more cohorts we have going, the stronger that network will be, and we also we collect the most valuable insights, and put them back into the community as learnings, from anonymized, obviously, from what we've learned in the different leadership circles. And if we see a recurring problem, then we can, for example, invite guest speakers or create a course. And so it's literally an ecosystem that is totally tailored around people directors, HR directors, mainly in tech, that will support you in the journey. It's a journey. It's not just, okay, our next policy is going to be there like effective in the 1st of May, and I need some answers. No, it's a journey that we expect people to be working on those topics for the next 5 to 10 years, and that is also the time frame that we have.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is to dive a little bit deeper in the next cohorts. because if this all resonates with you, then we invite you to apply to become a member of the next cohort. We are accepting applications till the 10th of May, so that's the absolute deadline of getting your application sent. The onboarding is the 13th till the 18th of May, so ideally the 13th, but maybe, some people that might just, we open up a little bit, but we have some materials that we need people to work through before the first, to set up the profile in the community platform, to get a little bit of a feeling about, what's happening. We ask people some icebreaker questions to get to know each other before the first session. Those things that are really, giving the base. The first session is an important session because it's where we get to know each other. Then we have the sessions will be the third Friday of the month, basically at this time, but they take an hour and a half. So it's like 1 p.m. GMT till 2:30. So that is it for European people in the afternoon, Friday afternoon, for people in Americas in the morning. That's basically also, our audience. So expect people from those regions to be part of your group. And we are aiming selected HR leaders from tech industries. So making sure that we got a group that is diverse enough, but also consistent enough, coherent enough to have something that they want to share.
Yeah.
Let me just, is there something you want to add?
I was just going to say, number 3 is potentially up to negotiation, of course, because the group may decide they want to work at a different time. But we just know we have the most success with Friday afternoons generally, and we've got a window at the moment on third Friday of every month. So that's how we'll start it off, and I doubt it will change. But it is obviously open to, if the group as a whole need it to happen at a different time, then we can move that. But it's just that's how we know it tends to work so far. That's just what we found.
Exactly. Yeah, and exactly, and I think it's a lot. It's a lot in the. There's a lot of things happening here in the group as well, that we offer the flexibility. So what we want to do is give people the flexibility to work together with the group, and we have a structure, but we are also flexible in changing that structure. So people say, well, that doesn't really work for me, or I think we should have more like 2 people in the hot seat and go more in depth. And we are always, or we would say, oh, somebody was in the hot seat and then last month, but then we all gave it a little bit of thought and built additional questions. So we take another 10 minutes to focus on that person, even if it's not their turn to be in the hot seat. So, we have that flexibility. We really put the needs of the group first. And we are just here to facilitate and to make it better. That said, we are facilitating that, but we expect people to show up committed, because the qualities of the group are depending on the quality of the people, the commitment of the people, and the engagement. Now we can only hold the space and facilitate and move along and see what's needed and make that, point that out, but we do need people that are highly engaged, and this is also one of the reasons we have that selection process. So what we expect is a commitment for 1 year, work together with this group. The sessions are once a month, but they're like 10, it's not every month. And we expect people to share and support, and to make sure that we get that high level group. Not obviously it's a safe space. Obviously we expect people to be to be very how do you say that, with integrity in what we share, what we learn from each other. Selection process, we do not put direct competitors in the same group, and also not people from the same companies. So we have some network. We have some people in a network and audience that are like with the same company, but we just just make sure that obviously the idea is that you talk to people outside of your company and create a safe space. Pricing and budget. So I also want to know if there are any questions from the audience so far. far, then it would be a good time to ask them. Right now, there's a little bit of a delay, but then we can pick them up and
Yeah.
we can go on and make sure that we answer them before we end the live stream.
Yeah.
So the pricing is 1,750 euros. That I didn't put there. I didn't specific that these are euros.
That's a good point. Yeah. Could be anything.
Anything. What they are euro excluding VAT. People you pay in full and in advance. It's a pro membership, so there's a full year pro membership, and we do offer, as I said, a 30 um, day money back guarantee that could also be uh, postponing the membership for next time.
Yeah.
But because that's a question we got a lot, Trevor, isn't it? About
What question?
uh,
I actually missed it. You
the
cut out as you were
budget.
saying.
The budget.
Oh yes, yeah. So, well, I guess we do get that quite. It's not so much a question; it's more of a comeback where people kind of go, "Well, I don't have a budget for it," and obviously that's a very good reason not to get something. But the reality is that I think this, well, certainly in my experience. So I used to have quite a large L&D budget, and this is the sort of thing that would come up, and there was never a budget for it because it's a community, and so it doesn't neatly fit into any particular pot. And in reality, we did often pay for these kind of memberships where predominantly the main focus of it was learning. Obviously, they're problem solving and things like that, but the focus was learning. A lot of the time, it would come from an L&D budget. But also, I have had examples of this where it's come from a project budget as well. So I would just say for those people, if they're working on a particular future of work activity and there is a project budget, then quite often I think that's a good place to put it, because then it doesn't feel like it's about you, because the reality is you're going to be bringing in problems from that project to be solved. And so in that sense, it's a lot more like a professional membership or something like that, where it's linked to the work that you're doing rather than necessarily being purely about your development. Because some organizations will have, say, €2,000 a year for someone's professional development. I don't personally think it's necessarily right that this would come out of that. I think it's better if it comes out for project budget. But of course, you know, you are getting a lot of learning from it. So I do expect, if you aren't already responsible for the L&D budget, that maybe the L&D budget would have someone kind of knocking on the door and saying, actually, this is the professional development that I want this year, because it's something that's a lot more tailored to me and my challenges.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel it well. I've spoken to a lot of people that are very, very interested, and then when we talk about pricing, they would say, "Well, there's no budget for that," and I would like, "Yeah, but you know, it'd be good because you're only finding out that it exists right now." And indeed, the other thing is a lot of people say it's my L&D budget already. I'm already participating in a course. And what I say, well, first of all, also, as you say, there are different budgets. We are working on your organizational challenges. You're finding solutions for your organizations. They're saving you a lot of time and they're saving you a lot of money. There has not been any conferences, like physical conferences, over the last 2 years that people would be able to, you would get budget to fly to another country, to stay a few nights in a hotel, pay 500, 700 euros entrance for like only the conference. That's way more than this, like 1,750 euros. And this is, and it's like a conference, it's a boutique conference, but it is like 24/7 hours, 365 days a year. Get loads more value out of it. Another thing, we are here to help people step up and strengthen their future of work leadership skills, to become a stronger leader, to lead a strategic discussion, to drive change. And one of the things that we encourage you to do, if you really want it and you see the value, then you should be able to step up in your organization and in that leadership position and get the budget for it.
Yeah. I mean, also, I think comparative value, and well, obviously we're massively biased here because we built a product that we would like, right? Or we would have liked. So we're hugely biased.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. And I think about these sessions, I'd probably charge €800 to run a peer session with HR directors to facilitate a problem solving session. I'd charge a third of what we're charging for an annual membership for one of those sessions. Never mind any other benefits that people get along with this. So, it's all comparative, and I think that's probably the challenge. People go, "Oh, it's €1,700 straight up," but actually, in reality, what you get for that spread out throughout the year is a huge amount of value. And it sounds a bit salesy now, and I'm not trying to make it like that, but I'm just trying to, like, the rationale that we went through when we were pricing it is this is actually cheap. We're not here to get rich. We're here to offer a service effectively. This is we're not going to retire on this, right? So that's why it's not priced at the top end of what we could potentially charge for.
No, I think that the memberships are, for those kind of things and this kind of value that I know of are double, are like they're twice as much what you would get, what you would pay, almost the double price. So we really offer. I think it's a very friendly and accessible price, especially considered for the level the people that we work with, the companies that they come from, and the value that they create. Plus, we offer a bonus, as you say, now, because it's probably not going to be in the next cohort, I suppose, or maybe not in the next one, but then after that we have the charging. It's a bonus. It's a program that we'll be designing that is on the market for $799. So you get that as a bonus. So basically, the mastermind pro membership will cost you less than $1,000 a month if you look at that way, what you get as an extra bonus. So, application process. So, as I said, I want to emphasize the 29th of April, the mini mastermind session. If you want to experience, please go and apply for that. I'll also put the Zoom link so you can register directly. So go to our website, and this is the most important link where you can actually apply for the pro membership. And I'll put it here in the banner, actually. Let me create a banner because it's not a difficult one to remember. So here you go. You can just access this link and you can tap request to join. There's also more information on that page. There's also a link to a few frequent asked questions. So apply. We'll get back to you if we review your application, and we'll invite you for a short interview to make sure that you are a good match and that we know what you're looking for, and we know, because we are not here to sell anybody anything that is not giving them value. There will be an ordering process, and as I said, there will be the access to the bonus. This is the 6-week program, which will delay a little bit because we're still developing it. But when it's ready, it will be a course available for you in the platform. So then you will just automatically get a link. I think that's it. Did we miss anything?
I think that's it. I don't think so. I'm trying to. I mean, we had a list of questions which we covered. I'm trying to think of any others that sort of randomly come up. I think the other biggest one, just to emphasize, I suppose, is that we try and curate these groups, and if we've got sort of half-formed group, we'll actively seek the right participants to match up so that people end up with a group of people, a group of peers that are going to definitely be able to add value to their thinking. So I guess that's the only thing that comes up regularly, and you said it earlier, but I just thought it was worth reiterating that we put a lot of effort into trying to build the best peer group we've got from kind of currently available members so that people get the most value from it.
So what kind of people, because this is a community and a network, they start organically. They start with us, we connected on this level of and then we are asking, we are basically growing the network with like-minded people. Can you just know about the kind of people that you always think, well, they should join us, definitely?
Do you know this kind of goes back to the theme of the book that I'm writing, but the thing that really stands out for me when you talk to an HR leader or you talk to actually a business leader, because we have had people who are just interested in that, they're just leaders in business or support functions, is if I hear in what they're saying that they are fundamentally human-centric, if they are interested in putting their employees first when they go to do something, that to me sets them apart, and that is very much thematic within the future of work anyway. When you look at virtually any of the trends within future of work, they're all about how do we put employees front and center, how do we empower them more, how do we give them more flexibility, how do we use AI to make their jobs more stimulating. Like, it's nearly always on that theme. So I think the people that are attracted to work with us, work with me and you on an individual level, but then also join the community, tend to be those people who are really interested in making it not like about work and life as separate entities, but about integrating those things and making people feel like they really enjoy and enriched by their work. And that they may not necessarily know how to do that, but the rhetoric and the frustration for them is around, battling those organizational conflicts where people are trying to put the business first and not necessarily looking at the long term, where actually if you put employees first, the business wins. And so when I hear that tension in someone's voice, I think they're primed to be a member.
Exactly. I think I interviewed one of the pro members, and what they said was, I think it was like spot on. I said, so one of the questions I asked her, what is your vision about the future of work? And it was like, I'm not sure if I have a vision, but can I share my hope and dreams about the future of work? And it was just like, and I'm like, yeah, you're in. It just there's like, what your hope is and dreams. From that level, then you connect with us in that level of mission and dreams and hopes for a better future of work, but also for a better society. And that is what we're actually about. We are in the end building a better society by creating a new world of work for ourselves, but also the next generation. So
exactly.
Yeah, I think that is probably everything. We will also be available for additional questions. You can email us, you can contact us. We're happy to hop on a call. Everything that, we think we provide a lot of information, but of course, we will also reconnect in the application process as well. Next week, we have a topic that is very close to my heart, being location independent and nomadic for 8 years. This is about remote working and legal compliance. So we know, as one of our members said, I hope that's going to be a solution about, for taxes and legal issues, employment law in the near future, because currently it is a nightmare.
Yeah,
And
it's a mess.
It is exactly, especially a nightmare if you don't know, the way in that, root of bureaucratic things in every country. But so next week we speak with an expert on that, so that will shine us a little bit of light on that topic, because more and more companies face the questions of their employees that want to maybe even move to another country or travel for a while. And it's the whole, how you're going to deal with taxes, employment laws, insurances, visa, a lot of that. So it's a very different topic, but very interesting and much needed to help companies to meet what we call talent flexibility. It's an important one
Exactly.
for the next future, and it's good to provide some information on that. I think that's it.
I think that's it. That was really, really good. I mean, I hope now we have like a comprehensive video we can send to anyone. These are all the questions that we get asked. We've answered it as quickly and succinctly as we can. Yeah, I think it's great. And always good to see you, Angelique.
It's good to see you, and we'll see you. I don't know. Are you going to be there next week, Trevor?
Yes, yeah. I'm going to join, of course. I'll just be like, watching from the sidelines and putting some questions in the chat.
Okay, yeah. So because and then I think in the next month you'll be doing some solo flights with guests.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really excited about the live thing. It's like, I really love it to be every Thursday, 1 p.m. GMT. We are live, and we are over time now. Keep it in the 30 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
See you next week, Trevor.
Take care. See you next week.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.